He says, I swear by the nafs, a person, our own self. He swears by our own self. To Allah, this self, you and me, that He created is a remarkable creation. And to understand it, to understand myself, Allah wants to give us a picture of some things you will learn about yourself if you contemplate the sun and the moon, and you contemplate the night, or the day and the night, and you contemplate the sky and the earth. Then you'll learn something about who? Yourself. And He says, وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, and what incredible balance He's created with. This person has an incredible ability to balance. And he's been made in a very balanced, or he or she's been created in a very balanced way. Now the first thing you can see, a correlation already, Allah did balance the sun and the moon. They have their own place and they're perfectly balanced. One little bit out of balance and the solar system gets destroyed. The night and the day are perfectly balanced. They're constants. The world can go through all kinds of chaos, but the night and the day are going to do what they do. They're going to keep on rolling. You know, our life can be put on hold, but the sun is not going to be put on hold. You know, we would wish that time would go by faster, or time would slow down, or time would go back, but it's going to, like clockwork, it's regular, it's steady, and it's perfectly balanced. Allah says that kind of a balance actually exists inside you and me. There's a balance inside us. Right? The problem with that statement is when we look inside of ourselves, we don't find balance. We find chaos. We find, man, today my anger took over and I couldn't think about anything else except this thing that's been bothering me. My resentment took over. My sadness took over. For some people, their hatred of themselves takes over. Their guilt takes over. Their shame takes over. For some people, it's their anxiety of the future that takes over. Something or the other inside of us creates all kinds of imbalance. Some people just say, I gotta think about work. I can't think about anything else. And they're ignoring all kinds of things they should be worried about, and their life is out of balance. Some people are just, I don't want to think about my problems, and they keep eating cheese doodles, and they're destroying their body and their mind. And their life is out of balance. And Allah says He made you and me with an incredible precision of balance. And then He described it. He said, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. He said He inspired it. Now common translations say that He inspired this person, each and every one of us. He put inside of us its own fujur and its own taqwa. They translate this as sinfulness and piousness. Sinfulness, and because, you know, fajr is a sinner in Arabic. But the word fujur actually comes from fajr. And fajr originally actually means explosion. Explosion. And you know, when rocks burst and waterfalls come out, فَانْفَجَرَتْ مِنْ هُثْنَةَ عَشْرَةَ عَيْنًا. 12 springs exploded out of the boulder. Infijar was used. When the sky is going to explode on Judgment Day, infajarat. إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انْفَجَرَتْ. So the idea of fujur is actually a kind of explosion. And by the way, if you go to the beginning, the sun in the daytime is exploding with light. It's a brilliant, aggressive being that God created, that Allah created, this sun, that is constantly exploding. And by the way, scientifically, there are constantly explosions happening in the sun. There are constantly explosions happening on the sun. And it comes out in its full glory, just bursting. What does that have to do with you and me? Allah says, Allah put impulses inside us, feelings inside us that want to explode. You know, you're having a conversation with someone and they say something and you have a great response inside you. You've got a nuclear war response ready to put them in their place. And it's right there ready to what? Explode. Allah says He inspired the human being with the ability to be impulsive with their feelings, like animals have. Animals feel threatened and they attack. They don't think about it, they just attack. Animals feel an urge and they do. Animals feel hungry and they eat. Human beings have some of the same mechanisms. We want to act immediately. Impulsively. كَلَّا بَلْ تُحِبُّونَ الْعَاجِلَةِ. You love to rush into things. We're impulsive. And so Allah says He put inside us these very powerful emotions and these powerful impulses that want to explode inside us. We just want to do it. We just want to feel better. We just want to act it out. You know, once it comes, it takes over and you're not even yourself anymore. And it's not even about one emotion. I gave the example of anger, but it's not just about anger. It could be about lust. It could be about greed. It could be about fear. It could be about anger. It could be any number of these emotions that can become impulsive. And you can't control them. And then Allah says, وَتَقْوَاهَا. And He inspired each of us with the ability to protect ourselves from our impulses. He gave us both. He gave us the accelerator, and He gave us the brakes. And He gave us both. And you kind of need both, don't you? Because without the accelerator, the car doesn't move. And without the brakes, you're not going to be able to stop. You're going to crash into something. What Allah is telling us is every one of our emotions is actually something that's needed. That's needed. But if you don't stop and protect yourself from letting it overrun you, then it's going to become an explosion. It's an explosive power. And you have to control it. And so Allah gave human beings the ability to measure and control and protect themselves from their own selves. From their own selves. And any one of those emotions that becomes overrun and you're only thinking about yourself and those feelings are the most important thing to you, when that happens, then you're not even protected from your own self. So Allah says in another place in the Quran, وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. In Surah Al-Taghabun, He says, whoever has been protected from the greed and the impulse they have inside of themselves, those are successful people.